Be honest with yourself for a second. How many times have you told yourself you'd start tomorrow, only to wake up and repeat the same cycle? You have the ambition, the vision, the drive to create something bigger. But when it comes time to take action, nothing happens. And maybe you've started to wonder, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just do what I know I need to do? Here's the truth most people won't tell you. The problem isn't that you're lazy. It's not that you lack motivation or discipline. The real issue? Your own brain is keeping you stuck, trapping you in a cycle of hesitation, overthinking, and waiting for the right time. And unless you learn how to break this cycle, you'll stay exactly where you are. But here's the good news. Once you understand why this happens, you can stop fighting yourself. You can finally take action, not through force or willpower, but by working with your brain instead of against it. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're ready to finally move forward, keep watching. Because what comes next might just change everything. I'd like to ask you to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. You wake up with 1,000 ideas in your mind. Visions of success, dreams of a better life, the undeniable feeling that you were meant for something greater. Yet, as the hours pass, nothing changes. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow turns into next week, next month, until you look back and realize an entire year has passed and you're in the exact same place. It's frustrating, isn't it? Knowing deep inside that you have potential, that you were meant for more, but somehow you just can't seem to take action. Most people assume laziness is a personality flaw, a sign of weakness, a lack of motivation, or pure irresponsibility. But that's not the truth. The real reason behind this struggle runs much deeper. Your brain is wired for survival, not success. It sees your ambitions, recognizes the amount of effort it will take, and immediately triggers resistance. It convinces you that comfort is better, that starting now is too hard, that tomorrow will be the perfect day to begin. And that's how the cycle begins. You scroll through your phone, watch motivational videos, plan, dream, maybe even research how to be productive. It feels like progress, but in reality, you're stuck in a loop of preparation without execution. The longer this goes on, the worse you feel. Guilt creeps in. Doubt starts whispering. Maybe I'm just not capable. Maybe I don't have what it takes. And the worst thought of all, maybe I'll always be like this. And here's the dangerous part. Every time you avoid taking action, you reinforce the belief that you're incapable. Your brain creates a pattern. You feel inspired, you think about taking action, resistance kicks in, you procrastinate, and then you feel terrible about it. This cycle repeats so many times that eventually, it becomes part of your identity. You start believing that you're just not a disciplined person or someone who always procrastinates. And once a belief is formed, it shapes your actions, your mindset, and ultimately, your future. But here's what no one tells you. This isn't your fault. You're not broken. Your mind has simply been programmed to resist change. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to, protecting you from discomfort. It's an old survival mechanism. In the past, conserving energy meant a greater chance of survival. But in today's world, this mechanism backfires, keeping you trapped in inaction while your dreams slip further away. But here's where you're different. The chosen ones are not meant to stay stuck. They are meant to break the cycle, to rise above, to rewrite their story. Let's get something straight. This isn't about forcing yourself to suddenly become ultra-disciplined overnight. Willpower alone won't save you. The secret to breaking free isn't about fighting yourself. It's about outsmarting your brain. Because your problem isn't laziness. It's how your mind has been programmed to resist change. And once you understand this, once you see how this cycle really works, you can finally break free. Think about it. If someone handed you a map, but you didn't know how to read it, you'd still be lost. The same applies here. You might have the right intentions, the right dreams, but if your brain is wired to resist change, you'll always feel like you're running in circles. The frustration, the guilt, the endless battle between wanting more and doing nothing, it's not a personal failure. It's a system failure. And once you learn how to reprogram the system, everything shifts. It's not about working harder, it's about working differently. Because here's what no one tells you. Success isn't about waking up one day and suddenly being productive. It's about learning how to make action feel natural. Your mind is already programmed to avoid effort, so what if you could use that programming to your advantage? What if you could trick your brain into taking action effortlessly? The answer isn't in pushing yourself harder or waiting for motivation to strike. It's about hacking the way your brain processes effort and reward. Right now, your mind associates big goals with overwhelming work. That's why it resists. But what if you could shift that association? What if instead of dreading action, your brain actually started craving it? That's not wishful thinking. It's a strategy used by the most successful people in the world. And the good news? You don't have to change everything at once. You don't need a complete overhaul of your habits overnight. The real key is understanding how to shift the smallest actions in a way that makes success inevitable. It's about working with your brain, not against it, because your struggle has never been about lack of ambition. It's been about resistance. And once you learn how to bypass it, you'll never feel stuck again. So let me ask you, are you ready to break free? Are you ready to rewire the way your brain processes effort? Because once you do, everything in your life will change. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Before continuing with our spiritual evolution, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Right now, there's a war happening inside your mind. On one side, the part of you that dreams big, that envisions a better future, that knows deep down you are capable of extraordinary things. On the other side, the part that craves comfort, that avoids risk, that sees effort as a threat. This battle happens every single time you try to take action. And the worst part, the part that chooses comfort usually wins. Why? Because your brain isn't designed for success, it's designed for survival. It doesn't care about your ambitions. It only cares about keeping you safe, avoiding unnecessary effort, and maintaining energy. This is why, when you think about starting something new, whether it's a workout, a business, or even just a simple task, your brain immediately resists. It convinces you that the task is too big, too difficult, too overwhelming. And before you even realize what's happening, you find yourself scrolling through your phone, watching another video, or procrastinating in ways that feel productive but lead nowhere. This is not laziness. This is biology. Your brain operates on a system of efficiency. It always takes the path of least resistance. That's why habits are so powerful. The things you do automatically, without even thinking, require no effort. But the moment you try to do something new, your brain sees it as a potential threat. It triggers resistance, convincing you that now is not the right time. It makes you crave distractions. It justifies procrastination with seemingly logical reasons. I'll start when I feel more motivated. I need to plan this out first. Maybe tomorrow will be a better day. These are all lies. The truth is, the hardest part of any task isn't doing the work, it's starting. Once you begin, everything changes. Think about the last time you finally forced yourself to do something you had been avoiding. Maybe it was going to the gym, starting a project, or cleaning your space. The moment you got into motion, it wasn't nearly as hard as you imagined. That's because your brain stops resisting once action begins. This is why the most successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on momentum. So, how do you break through resistance? The key is tricking your brain into starting before it has a chance to resist, and this is where the chosen ones separate themselves from the rest. You do this by making the first step ridiculously easy. Want to work out? Forget the 1-hour gym session, just do one push-up. Want to write a book? Forget the entire chapter, just write one sentence. Want to start a business? Forget the whole strategy, just brainstorm one idea. This is called the 2-minute rule, a psychological hack that eliminates resistance by making the task too small to resist. Why does this work? Because your brain is wired to seek completion. Even if you tell yourself you'll just do 2 minutes, once you start, you'll likely keep going. A single push-up turns into 10. One sentence turns into a paragraph. One small action creates momentum, and suddenly, the thing that felt impossible now feels effortless. But here's the problem, starting once is easy. Staying consistent is the real challenge. Most people can push past resistance for a day or two, but eventually they fall back into old patterns. Why? Because their habits still operate on autopilot. And unless you change that autopilot, you will always struggle with action. This is where most people fail. They assume success comes from discipline. They believe that if they just try harder, they'll stay consistent. But willpower is like a battery, it drains quickly. That's why the most successful people don't rely on it. They build systems that make action automatic. Think about it. Do you struggle to brush your teeth every day? Of course not. It's a habit. You don't need motivation or discipline, it just happens. But what if your dreams, your goals, your ambitions could be just as automatic? What if taking action became effortless? That's not fantasy, it's a strategy. And it starts with habit stacking, attaching new habits to things you already do. Want to read more? Read a single page after drinking your morning coffee. Want to exercise? Do 10 squats before your shower. 1. Start side business. Spend 5 minutes on it after brushing your teeth at night. These small, simple actions remove decision fatigue. You don't have to think about when or how to take action. It just becomes part of your daily routine. And once your brain recognizes the pattern, it stops resisting. But there's one more crucial element: emotion. Because even the best habits fail if you're not emotionally connected to why you're doing them. The real reason you struggle isn't because of effort, it's because your current habits feel more emotionally rewarding than your goals. Right now, scrolling your phone, watching videos, or avoiding work provides instant gratification, a small dopamine hit that makes inaction feel more appealing. This is why so many people stay stuck. They know what they should do, but emotionally, they are wired to seek short-term pleasure instead of long-term success. So how do you shift this? By changing what you associate pleasure with. Start attaching excitement to progress. Celebrate small wins. Visualize the outcome instead of dreading the effort. And most importantly, connect action to your identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to be productive," say, "I am someone who takes action." Instead of thinking, "I hope I can be disciplined," affirm, "I am someone who follows through." Identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as someone who naturally takes action, you won't need motivation. You'll just do it. But there's still one final piece. Because even with all these hacks, there's something even stronger than momentum or habits, something that can lock you into action for life. We're going to reveal the one simple technique that will make sure you never fall into inaction again. Now that you understand why taking action feels so difficult, the next question is, how do you make sure you don't fall back into the same cycle? Because starting once is easy. Staying consistent, that's what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. You've probably experienced it before. You get a surge of motivation, start something new, and for a few days, everything feels exciting. Then, out of nowhere, resistance creeps back in. One missed day turns into 2, then a week. Then you're back to square one, wondering why you can't stay consistent. Here's the truth: motivation is a trap. It makes you believe that success is about how you feel. But feelings are unreliable. They change every day. And if you only take action when you feel like it, you'll never build anything meaningful. The secret isn't motivation, it's habit formation. The people who achieve the most in life don't rely on discipline or inspiration. They have built systems that make action automatic. Think about it. Do you need motivation to brush your teeth every morning? No, it's just part of your routine. You don't think about it. You don't negotiate with yourself. You just do it. That's how powerful habits are. Once something becomes part of your identity, resistance disappears. The question is, how do you create this kind of automatic consistency for your biggest goals? The answer lies in a simple technique called habit stacking. Habit stacking works by attaching a new habit to something you already do every day. This removes the mental friction of figuring out when or how to start. Instead, the action becomes part of your normal routine. Want to start reading more? Read 1 page right after your morning coffee. Want to start exercising? Do 10 squats before your shower. Want to work on a side project? Spend 5 minutes on it after brushing your teeth at night. By linking a new habit to an existing routine, you eliminate decision fatigue and make consistency effortless. But here's the mistake most people make: they start too big. They try to change everything overnight. They set massive goals, thinking they'll suddenly become a completely different person. I'll go to the gym for an hour every day. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. and work for 3 hours before breakfast. But what happens? They burn out. They miss one day, then another, then quit entirely. This is why the 2-minute rule is so powerful. Instead of forcing yourself into massive change, start ridiculously small. Want to work out? Just do 1 push-up. Want to write a book? Just write 1 sentence. Want to meditate? Just take 1 deep breath. Your brain won't resist something that feels too small to fail. And once you start, momentum kicks in. 1 push-up turns into 10. 1 sentence turns into a paragraph. 1 deep breath turns into 5 minutes of mindfulness. And this is where the magic happens. Your brain starts to associate action with identity. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who tries to be productive, you become someone who takes action no matter how small. This shift is crucial because once an identity is formed, behavior follows automatically. But even with strong habits, there's one thing that can still pull you back into inaction: your environment. Most people underestimate how much their surroundings influence them. If your phone is next to you while working, you'll check it. If unhealthy food is in your kitchen, you'll eat it. If you're surrounded by unmotivated people, you'll absorb their mindset. This is why successful people design their environments to support their goals. Want to read more? Leave a book on your pillow. Want to stop wasting time on social media? Delete the apps or move them to a hidden folder. Want to wake up earlier? Put your alarm across the room. When you change your environment, you make success the default option. You remove the need for willpower. Instead of fighting distractions, you eliminate them. But here's the most important piece: your emotional connection to the habit. You can have all the right systems, but if you don't have a deep emotional reason behind your actions, you won't stay consistent. This is why most people struggle with long-term change. They focus on what they need to do, but never connect to why they're doing it. So ask yourself, why does this matter? Why do you want to be more productive? Why do you want to stop procrastinating? If your reason is weak, if it's just, I want to be more successful, or I should probably do this, you'll quit the moment things get hard. But if your reason is powerful, if it's deeply tied to your future, your freedom, or your legacy, then quitting is no longer an option. And this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the emotional trigger that locks everything into place. Because once you attach an emotional driver to your habits, resistance disappears. You stop relying on willpower. Taking action becomes automatic. But how do you create that emotional trigger? That's exactly what we're about to uncover right now. Imagine this, it's 1 year from now. You wake up and everything is the same. Same struggles, same excuses, same frustration. You had the chance to change, but you didn't. And now, all you can do is wonder, what if you had just started? What if you had pushed past the resistance? Would your life look completely different? This is the exact thought process that keeps people stuck, thinking they have endless time, that later will somehow be different. But here's the truth, if you don't take action today, you won't take action tomorrow. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they lack a deep enough reason to keep going when things get tough. And this is where everything changes. Because once you connect to an emotional trigger so powerful that quitting is no longer an option, you'll never struggle with consistency again. You see, success isn't just about habits and strategies, it's about your ability to link action to something that matters more than your temporary comfort. Think about the moments in life when you had no choice but to act. When survival, fear, or urgency forced you to move. Maybe it was a deadline that left you no room to procrastinate. Maybe it was a loved one depending on you. Maybe it was the realization that you had hit rock bottom and something had to change. These moments didn't just inspire action, they demanded it. And when you were in them, laziness wasn't even an option. So here's the question. How do you create that level of urgency before you hit rock bottom? How do you tap into that emotional drive now so that you don't waste another year waiting? The answer? You have to make the pain of staying the same greater than the pain of change. Right now, your brain associates comfort with inaction and discomfort with taking action. But if you flip this, if you train your mind to see stagnation as the real danger, everything shifts. Imagine right now that nothing changes. That 5 years from now, you're still struggling with the same habits, the same doubts, the same regrets. Let yourself feel the weight of that disappointment, the frustration, the loss of time you can never get back. Now, contrast that with the vision of your future if you took action today. Imagine waking up in total control of your life, your habits, your success. Which reality do you want? The problem is, most people don't feel this urgency until it's too late. They wait for life to force them to change. But winners don't wait. They create urgency within themselves. They attach meaning to their actions so every decision, every habit, every effort becomes a step towards something that truly matters. And here's how you do it. Number 1, identify your personal trigger. What is the one thing in life that matters more to you than anything else? Maybe it's proving to yourself that you're capable. Maybe it's giving your family a better life. Maybe it's breaking free from a cycle of struggle. Whatever it is, write it down. Make it real. Number 2, use the future regret test. When you're about to skip a task, don't ask, do I feel like doing this? Instead, ask, how will I feel if I don't? Train your brain to associate skipping your work with deep regret. Number 3, tie your success to something bigger than yourself. If your only motivation is personal gain, it won't last. But if you attach your success to serving others, making an impact, or fulfilling your true potential, your drive becomes unstoppable. This is the final key to consistency, emotional leverage. Because once you connect your actions to a purpose that's bigger than your temporary feelings, motivation no longer matters. You don't need to feel like working, you just do it. You don't debate whether to show up, you just show up. And over time, this consistency compounds into something life-changing. Now here's your moment. Right now, you have two choices: stay the same or take control. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more letting fear, doubt, or laziness hold you back. It's time to step up, because the reality is you already know what you need to do. A year from now, you'll look back at this moment and realize it led you in one of two directions. Either everything changed or nothing did. Because here's the truth: your future isn't shaped by luck, talent, or motivation. It's shaped by the small decisions you make right now. The choice to break free from hesitation. The choice to stop overthinking. The choice to take one small action that sets everything in motion. So ask yourself, will you keep waiting for the perfect moment? Or will you finally take control? Because no one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. It's on you. And the only question left is, what will you do next? If this video has changed your spiritual journey and helped you connect with your universal strength, subscribe to the channel, leave a like below, and activate the notification bell so we can notify you when new content arrives. We also suggest watching the video indicated on the screen so you can continue your journey of spiritual growth and inner evolution of knowledge. Thank you for staying with us until the end, and see you in the next video.